think in retrospect, people are going to look back on 2023 as the year the superhero genre officially died.
Deadpool and Wolverine is pretty fine, but what's really important about this film is that it kind of really disproves this whole idea of superhero fatigue that's been plaguing cinema and plaguing film enthusiasts' vocabulary for the past 5 years. Most places where you'll go where people like films and talk about films on a professional, in quotation marks, manner, will talk about superhero fatigue and how since Marvel's phase 4 and phase 5, well, ever since really Avengers Endgame in 2019, there's been a serious implementation of superhero fatigue into pop culture and into cinema. People will point to evidence such as certain Marvel movies flopping at the box office, Marvel TV shows and Marvel movies getting bad reviews, the DCEU collapsing and having to reorganize next year, and in general just a disdain for superhero media. And a lot of people have this narrative and they've kept with it and they continue to spout it. Every time a Marvel trailer comes out, people will bring up, oh, why can't these studios just learn that there's superhero fatigue? And every superhero actor will get asked about superhero fatigue, and every director and every person that's involved with superhero media will get asked about superhero fatigue and whether it's a thing and how it affects the industry, and people have their opinions on it and stuff like that. But Deadpool and Wolverine has kind of just proved that it's just not a thing, that general audiences don't have superhero fatigue, and in fact it's kind of the opposite. Deadpool and Wolverine will go on an unprecedented run in the box office. For an R-rated movie, it's going to make over $1 billion in less than 3 weeks. It's going to be the highest grossing R-rated film of all time. It's already beating the past 2 Deadpool movies, and it's Marvel's most profitable film, Marvel film since Avengers Endgame, if you don't count No Way Home, because that's a Sony production. I believe it's Marvel's most profitable film in about 5 years, and it's R-rated as well, which is kind of huge, as that significantly cuts down the audience. So why has Deadpool and Wolverine gone on this massive pop culture run, whereas garnered this amount of profit and box office money in this amount of short time, and has broken hundreds of records already? How has it done this if general audiences have superhero fatigue? Well, they don't. It's a lie. It's not a thing. It doesn't exist. People are getting sick of superhero stuff, but it's not because they have superhero fatigue. It's because they do not want to watch shit. That's essentially it. This superhero fatigue term is being so overused, and it's not even a thing. We can look at the Marvels and use the Marvels as an example. That film came out during a strike and underperformed heavily at the box office. It did not do well at all, and in the eyes of general audiences and critics, it was not a success, or many people thought was not a good movie. There are plenty of reasons why that film didn't do well. Again, like I said, the strikes is a large part of it, and the clear lack of marketing. But one of the main reasons was because the Marvels does not appeal to a general audience. That's simply it. On the other hand, Deadpool and Wolverine appeals to basically fucking everybody that lives and breathes on the planet. So it's kind of obvious why Deadpool and Wolverine is being so successful and why the Marvels wasn't. Basically, this whole nothing burger rant boils down to one very important point. General audiences aren't sick of superhero media. They do not have superhero fatigue. They just are picky, and I think that's for many reasons. Cinema prices are pretty crazy nowadays. It's expensive. Also, streaming services are aplenty. There's 50 million different streaming services, all with hundreds of hours of content. People don't really have to leave their house anymore to go and watch these new films. Also, pirating is a thing and has always been a thing, and most people aren't arsed to go to the cinema. But as we saw with Deadpool and Wolverine and the amount of money it's making, for this film in particular, people are willing to go to the cinema and pay the price, probably even multiple times, to see this film. So superhero fatigue isn't a thing. It's not a real thing. Yes, people are probably tired of superhero stuff, and the amount of it is coming out, and the fact that this was the only Marvel this year probably plays a huge part in it. but people do not have superhero fatigue, and this can be debated. I can be proven wrong. Who knows, maybe the next 2 Avengers movies will flop. Maybe James Gunn's Superman will flop. I highly doubt it. I see all those making well over 500 million, if not $1 billion each, especially the 2 Avengers films. So I don't think superhero media, I don't think Marvel is going anywhere. A lot of people will convince you that Marvel is coming to an end, that it's the death, that people's interests are waning. A lot of people convince you that superhero media is dying as a whole. I've seen a lot of people comparing it to the Western genre, and I feel like a lot of people have this skewed idea of people's interest in superhero media as of the modern day. I think a lot of people just assume that everybody has no interest in superhero stuff anymore, just because Marvel puts out a few shit fucking films and TV shows that are rushed. But I don't think that's the case at all. And clearly with Deadpool and Wolverine, many people are still very involved in superhero media and are very interested for it, and there's still a very high demand. It's just important that these studios understand where this demand is coming from and what the demand is for. The demand isn't for stuff like the Marvels and for Agatha's House of Harkness show or whatever that's called. It's for schlocky, big, massive, blockbuster superhero movies with big names, with big actors, that people can watch. That's what the interest is there for, and that will probably suck not only for cinema but for the superhero genre if audiences only want to see the big guys. But if that's what makes the most money, then that's what studios are going to go for, I guess. So in summary, after all that yapping, Deadpool and Wolverine and its massive success has proven that superhero fatigue is not really a thing anymore. I think in the future we'll still see people use that term and still try and convince and gaslight you into thinking that everybody hates superhero stuff, but it's not true. This film has kind of just proven that the demand is still there and very incredibly high, but it's also proven that the demand is only there for certain stuff. And Marvel won't be able to survive on making random movies and random TV shows, that they will have to, unfortunately, maybe for the good or bad of the company, go towards some of the bigger stuff they have. And I think that's their plan for the future. With the announcements they made with the 2 Avengers movies, with slates like Fantastic Four and Captain America coming out, they are clearly trying to revert back to big films, big blockbusters, big names, big actors, big superheroes, because clearly that's what the audience wants to see. I don't know if the next couple of superhero movies will do as well as Deadpool. Maybe Deadpool was the exception because of the name and the brand that Deadpool is, that is built up over the past couple of years. Maybe Superman will flop, maybe Fantastic Four and Captain America and the Thunderbolts and fucking every other fucking Marvel film will flop. Maybe Deadpool was a weird blip in the statistics, but I don't think so. I think it's a clear sign that superhero stuff is here to stay, probably forever. So yay.